Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
James McAvoy in Narnia?
Yeah, he's Mr. Tumnus.
I don't know what that means.
He's the satyr.
Okay, I haven't seen that. I haven't.
Then why did you ask?
I will not.
Why did you ask me for clarification that was not going to give you any more insight into what I was talking about?
Well, it makes me want to see it a little bit.
Son of a bitch!
I want to see James McAvoy as a
as a satyr with a little scarf on. Yeah, it's quite a thing.
I think I technically saw that first movie, but it was one of those cases where like my brain didn't see it.
Like, you don't know if you saw that or The Golden Compass because they're both the same film. So,
I've definitely seen them both.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you anything about either movie.
No.
Aside from the James McAvoy stuff.
Yeah. I literally can't remember if I've seen either of those.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Another episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast.
It's the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
I am Logan Trent.
Hello, Logan. Welcome.
Sure are, Logan.
You know what I have seen is the Lightning Thief movies.
I saw those with you.
Yeah. We watched those together.
They're bad. Logan, how are you?
I am okay. Just a little tired and hot because we're in the middle of a drought in Texas.
Ooh.
Yeah, so nice.
Oh yeah, us too, probably. I don't know. It's
what
very
people
windy
need
here.
water
Very
for?
windy here, so it's like rain.
It's really annoying because there's like
air
dark
rain.
clouds all over, and it's just like rain, you son of a bitch. Come on.
Oh, it's like edging you.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like rain
Yeah.
edging.
It's
Rain
like,
edging.
oh, look at how dark I am. I got so much hydration in here. I'm going to keep it to myself. Fuck you, cloud.
You're right. Just the tip of the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope you see water. I hope it rains on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At some point. I'm sure it will, right?
Hopefully.
It can't never rain.
I mean, you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say
I mean, that is the definition of a drought. So, yeah.
Yeah. You guys like movies?
I've heard of them.
Yeah. I've seen a few movies. I like movies. I like movies, Dave.
That's good.
I like the concept more
that's
than
good
the
for the
execution.
podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I like the idea of movies more than I actually like movies.
The miracle of moving pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just blows my fucking mind every time I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's fucking weird.
Listening to movies on tape, actually. I find that it's easier to digest them when you're driving in your car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. That seems, fun.
I had to take a break from movies, though, when I realized that all the people in Fast and Furious aren't friends in real life.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was tough for me. It was a tough time.
Right, because they have such chemistry in the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys caught the theme in the movies, but it's about family, you guys. And
that's true.
Yeah, they're not that anymore.
It's true. Yeah,
Well,
it's really subtly woven throughout each one of the films. But you're right. It is there if you care to look for that subtext.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really makes sense when you watch all of them in a row. You can finally kind of figure that out.
that of course means it's not about friendship; it's about family. So they don't have to be
That's true.
friends.
I have no idea. Maybe they're really family. That's a good point,
Yeah, maybe
Dave.
they're
I
all
should look
related.
into. I'm going to look into this more once we finish recording.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They're all shitty siblings.
They could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem like it. They all look the same.
They do have that very easy, realistic, authentic charisma when they interact with each other in those films. You can
They really
really
do.
tell that it's just. I just believe it. You know,
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
yeah. Excited for Fast X,
Mm-hmm.
as we learned it's being called.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's
What else would
fine.
it have been called?
Fasten
Yeah.
your seatbelts.
They're so
There
like,
it is.
ashamed.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah,
should have been
that is
called.
it.
What a missed opportunity. That's like when they called it "Now You See Me Too" instead of "Now You Don't."
That was
Yeah,
so
that was fucking
infuriating.
wild.
It's like leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
You daffy bastards. It should have been "Fasten your seatbelts." Yeah, it's right there.
I mean, they went with Fate of the Furious for the 8th one. It's not like puns
Right?
are above
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah,
It's really funny because it's like they're ashamed of their original title because it's just like they it's all about fucking variations now, right? Like Fast 5, Furious 7, yeah, the Fate of the Furious, F9, Fast X, and it's like, Christ, you guys. Like how many you're just trying to find so many different ways to say the name of your movie series.
I kind of wish they had called it Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift Part 2. And
That
was
would
just
have
the
been
last
amazing. Holy shit. We need another Tokyo Drift. You're right. And then there's Hobbs and Shaw, which is gonna, I assume, get a sequel.
yeah. That'll get its 10 movies.
Yeah.
It's like an octopus, really. Fast and the Furious.
It's a Hydra.
Yeah,
you
like
cut
a
off
really-
one movie, you get 3 takes its place.
Yeah.
3 more families take its place. Let's name some producers, Dave.
All right. We got a new producer. I've been given instructions for this one.
Okay.
Thank you to Hombre. That's it. That's as good as I'm gonna go.
Sure.
It just says to do it in a grizzled voice.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does everybody want to try their grizzled voice?
Hombre.
Hombre.
That's the winner
There
right
it
there.
is.
Yep.
That is, yeah, we got it. Hombre. Also, thanks to Heathcliff's helping handfuls.
Thank you.
Thank you to thank you. Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Left.
Thank you.
Thank you to Samuel Beckett's Donuts and Mortgage Emporium.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Ryan, the Silly Money Goose.
Thank you.
Thank you to Snapper Carr Punches God in the Dick.
Yeah, he does.
Thank you to @NerdNumbers.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thanks so much.
Thank you to DJ Finney.
Thanks.
Thank you to Dracula the Bus Driving Vampire. Thank you to Brockway Loves the Meat Millie.
Sure does.
Thank you to David
Knife
Boot Henson.
Let me jump in here. Thank you to Grumblebee. Thank you to Screaming
you.
Horse Pyramid. Thank you to Look Bomb on a podcast.
Thank
Thank you to Seismic Charge Noise. Blah.
Thank you.
Thank you to Deborah's Awesome, Barbara's Great, and Cancer and Go to Hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silico Volcano Coniosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you to the baby from Eraserhead.
Thank
Thank you to Chiz Lily Tits.
Thank
you to these 7 Bs.
Thank
you to Breezy Ruizy. Thank you to Davey Francis for the Revenge.
Thank you.
And thank you to MVB.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
man.
All of you. Thank you.
Hype train pulling out of the station with
Yeah.
the first trailer for Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, which is coming out in like 3 months.
Sure.
Which is like, we were talking about it before we started recording. It's just shocking to me how like I'm so used to seeing a trailer for 3 years that it's weird to see a trailer and they're like, and this is coming out in like a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, I
Do
was
you
going to
remember
say,
shit.
the 700 times you watched the Free Guy trailer before it came out?
Right.
I sure
Free
do.
Guy,
And the Top Gun
Morbius,
Maverick.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one feels, see, you're telling me it's coming out in 3 months, but because of everything we were just talking about, like it feels the same to me right now. Like if you told me this movie was coming out in 2024, like it
Yeah.
feels 3 months from now feels as close to me right now as 2024.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Time is ridiculous. What did you guys think of this trailer?
I mean, I'm into it.
Yeah, like I kind of, like, it's one of those teasers where it tells me pretty much everything I need to just be on board. Like, I'm gonna probably have to watch the like next trailer if they do a second one for like work and stuff like that, but I'm just like straight up on board with it just off of this, and I kind of don't need any more information. So
yeah, I'm similar, where it's like if I could, I wouldn't watch another trailer.
Yeah.
It is very much, I think this isn't a critique, it's just interesting how post-Thanos Marvel feels. Like, this feels like they're not like, look at this new threat. It's like, and now we're just like dicking around. Like, Thor's just like trying to figure out what to do with himself. It's just, I'm sure they'll introduce a villain and all sorts of shit in this, but it feels very like meandering and not necessarily in a bad way.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, because like, you need that little breathing room. Like, if it was just massive threat, like, you just run out of escalation at some point. And I kind of like how in that breathing room, you get to see how the rest of like kind of Earth and like the rest of the MCU is affected by there. Like, you see New Asgard on there, and clearly like their planet is very different from where it was when like Iron Man was the only guy there. So I like that they're kind of like getting around with that, and it's world building for the most part, which is just interesting aspects that like they don't have in other franchises. So
watching this, the weird thought was, I wish this was a TV show. Like, I wish it was something that could just spend a lot of time on characters and like how they feel. Like, that's what's weird, because I know inevitably it is going to be a superhero story, right? They're going to have a villain. Yeah. They're going to have battle. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I kind of just want a Thor drama comedy where it's just him dealing with this new like life in space and like showing New Asgard and their politics and I don't know. I want that. And I'm aware that the movie's probably not going to be that. But it's probably going to be super fun and very entertaining.
Yeah,
either way.
I'm really loving that it's keeping the same aesthetic from Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's
Taika, so it's of course
it's him again, and
Taika really has blended into the cosmic stuff that kind of James Gunn established. So just in tone, like, it just feels very natural with how they've been going with that area of the universe. So
yeah, it's
just a welcome like difference compared to, say, the more high drama stuff that you're getting on like the Earth-based stuff, like we did with, you know, our No Way Home, or what we're going to get with presumably Doctor Strange. So I kind of like that they have variance in tone, where it's like, oh, this one's a little funnier than the other one, this one's that, and it's keeps it from getting too exhausting and repetitive for me. Like, whereas the Snyderverse stuff, like, after a while, like, just that tone kind of got repetitive.
Yeah.
Right. It's a fine line to walk, I think, because I do like I don't need them to try to whip out another Thanos, and that's part of, I mean, there was a lot of reasons Eternals wasn't good, but it felt like Eternals was like, okay, what next? And like, at the same time, I didn't like a lot of the shows because they felt like they were spinning their wheels. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, where it's like, it's a weird time for Marvel, and I think these movies tend to be the most fun because they're just like, yeah, fuck it. And like, it was the same with the last Thor movie. Like, it didn't feel tied into the series. It was just like, here's a Thor adventure. And I think if they keep on that of just like Thor's like adventures in space in this delightful cosmic world we've created, like, I don't think they can go wrong.
And the thing I'm excited, or sorry, go ahead, Tom.
All I was going to say is I really appreciate that space looks so different and unique in the MCU.
It's
in general.
Kirby influenced. It's just,
It's
not that generic space feel that a lot of other like franchises have. It's very
and that weird, because so much of it has that samey kind of blue-ish desaturated filter that every action adventure movie has for the past 15 years. So I'm just really glad that they're sticking with that look rather than, at least for these, like the Guardians movies and for the last two Thor movies, because it could very easily just look like, I don't know, Ender's Game or like some other incredibly forgettable sci-fi movie from the past 10 years, where it just, looks like drained and lifeless and boring, and it's instead we have this vibrant, colorful, like you said, Kirby influence, like 1970s fucking kaleidoscope of just energy, and I don't know, it looks great. I love that this is the look of space.
Like the source stuff is always, it's just comic books, and comic books are always colorful and bright with that type of thing. So I'm glad that they're translating that so well on there. And there's a little, I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that at the end of the trailer, that's Natalie Portman in the Thor.
Oh yeah,
outfit.
everybody knows.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see her with this casting crew because I feel like she's underrated as a comedic actress, and she just doesn't really get those opportunities. So I think she's going to have a lot of fun, especially with a more comedic Chris Hemsworth, who she really didn't get to play off in the first two movies as much. So I'm kind of interested in seeing what their chemistry is like there.
For sure. And I'm really curious to see how they'll work Morbius into this, because of course they have to.
It's the summer of Morbius, Dave,
Yeah, they have to work Morbius into this somehow.
Yeah.
They probably had to hastily rewrite it to get Morbius involved.
You guys know about the other castings in this, right? Or no?
Christian Bale.
Yeah, but did you see Zeus in the trailer?
Oh, he's Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. So we're getting Russell Crowe and Christian Bale in this also. So it's just like, I really cannot wait to see what these guys do with this type of like humor.
Well, I think Russell Crowe he's accidentally funny more than he's purposefully funny, right? And Christian Bale feels like the same. Like they both feel like dudes who probably think they have a good sense of humor but might not. And I honestly think it'll work out surprisingly well.
Yeah.
For that reason. I don't know. Or maybe they'll kill it. Maybe they're going to kill it. But like with the right material, you know, any actor can be funny.
I think I'd read, and I don't know for certain, I think I'd read that Russell Crowe, it's another sort of similar cameo to like Matt Damon and Sam Neill in Ragnarok, where he's actually playing an actor playing Zeus, but that could be wrong. So don't hold me to that. But I believe I remember reading that. Also, did you guys notice, because fucking Marvel loves doing this, but the one shot where a character has clearly been deleted from the footage?
With him, where the Guardians are flying away, it's Thor, a guy next to him, and there's a huge gap missing. Like, I think that's Korg next to him. Oh yeah, it is Korg. Yeah.
But yeah, there's very clearly, just the way the shot is framed, there's somebody standing to Thor's right.
You think that's going to be Morbius?
I think that's
probably, it's got to be Morbius. Really, Hercules?
Because if they're doing Olympus and stuff, it would make sense to introduce Hercules as a comedic character, because he's a very funny character in the comics. And I heard a lot of people fan casting Henry Cavill for that, but I don't think that would happen. But there's a lot of fun choices that you could get for that role, and just having him bro out with Thor. But like I said, I don't know if that's who's going to be there, but there's clearly a missing character there, because no one frames a shot like that.
I'm holding out hope for Beta Ray Bill.
Ooh, that would be. There's a lot. See, that's the thing. There's so many cool casting choices that they can go with these, and like I'm really excited to see where they go.
Do you think they're going to start working in because? Do you think we are actually going to be seeing like what the Thanos type plot is going to be from this? Because I do feel like it's going to come from space, right? It's going to be.
I think Loki already set it up with Kang.
Kang
is just too big of a character like that. Like he's bigger than Thanos sometimes, so it's just you don't introduce him without setting him up as the bad.
He's not gonna. I don't think he'll just be the villain in an Ant-Man sequel. Yeah. Like Kang is a big threat.
Especially
in the
with
comics.
the get of Jonathan Majors, who's like really on the up and up. Like, he's such a good actor.
Here's what it is. I feel like, I guess what I feel like is everything we've seen so far from Marvel has still been like winding down from Thanos, you know? because it kind of had to be.
Yeah.
And so this is like this and Multiverse feel like the first chance to like start. Like I think Eternals was supposed to be that. It just no one liked it. But this is going to be the first chance they have to like start introducing stuff. So I'm just curious.
The other
what it's
option
gonna be.
would just be like having maybe smaller villain arcs, because if they have Kang, which they've set up, but also they have a Fantastic Four movie and the Eternals set up the Celestials, so that means we can probably get like a Galactus thing going on. Or a Doctor Doom thing.
Hopefully.
Right.
X-Men movie's going to come out eventually, so we'll probably get a Magneto too. So we just might have those types of things instead of bigger threats like that.
What's interesting is there's no structure anymore. There's no Avengers films. You know what I mean? Where, like, it used to be that all the side movies would be like, oh, and by the way, this is another Infinity Stone. Hint, hint. And then they'd let the Avengers movies kind of push it along more, unless it's Age of Ultron, which didn't do that. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no central thread anymore, and everything's sort of just like so. Like, I would love to see like a cosmic thread that they stay with, because it really seems like that. But then you have to work in like Blade, which is coming, and it's just there's so many things at this point that they're putting out that it's like it just feels like this explosion,
and it feels kind of
that's
good
going in
because
every
there's
direction.
a variety. Because say you're not interested in the cosmic stuff and you just want like Blade gives you the supernatural thing. Oh, I can just stick in this corner of that. And like X-Men, when they do that, not if like you could just stick with the mutant stuff. Like so,
right.
I don't.
Maybe it'll be less directed.
Yeah. So the thing is that they clearly like. Obviously, they don't plan everything through because that stuff is, but you can clearly see that they have like a bunch of different kernels of thoughts of where they want to go to, which helps with that type of thing. So it's just, let's see where they go. And like, because the Thanos stuff took 20 movies to get there. So, and we just have gotten like, what, I think 5 so far or something?
Yes,
so.
5 or 6,
However, I would say that like, we were learning about the Infinity Stones very quickly. Like they knew where they were heading from the start. So like I don't know. It's more of like it's okay for them not to do that again, and I hope they know that. But I guess we'll see what happens. Should we talk about this next trailer?
I don't really have anything else for the Thor thing other than it looks cool.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This is the trailer for Dashcam. It's from the director of Host, that short that briefly blew up on the streams.
Oh yeah.
It's same director, but it's I'm guessing all from the perspective of a Dashcam horror movie. It's about I looked it up. It's about like an influencer in England driving around. And then, like, you know, horror happens.
So you can sort of infer it from the trailer is just a long or extended shot from the perspective of their dash cam, and you can see during their live stream that it's like they're called like mobile band or something, and they do a live stream where they play music in a moving car, and then they find some old woman in the road, and creepiness happens.
Yeah. And like I liked Host okay. I wasn't in love with Host just because it was more like this is a really good straightforward horror short, you know?
Yeah, and it was cool. It was more notable for me in how they were able to use the Zoom format, like it's within the entirety of a free Zoom call, so it's just under an hour long. And just what they were able to do during the pandemic, like that's really what made it stand out for me. So I do sort of kind of raise an eyebrow at some like extremely hyperbolic reactions I've seen to the film, where it's like Host is one of the best horror movies of the past 10 years. I'm like, all right, no, not really. It was just remarkable really for what they were able to film via Zoom during a pandemic is what made it stand out.
That's really interesting to me because, ultimately as a horror movie, I didn't really care about Host. Like I said, it was like I watched it and I was like, oh, that was pretty good. And then I moved on. And it's like, I'll watch something. But, I'm not like, I don't see this and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, like Host guy. You know, it's not like fucking David Robert Mitchell.
Yeah.
Or anybody like that. Logan, did you see Host?
I did not see Host. Yeah, but I've heard of it, and I know what movie. Like. I know the premise in there, but with this trailer, like, from just the initial premise, I kind of am a little skeptical because I can't think of any like fictional thing that would be scarier than I've seen on actual Russian dash cams, like on like Live Leak and shit. Like,
yeah,
so,
right.
Including an actual meteor screaming past cars on the interstate.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, like the stakes are immediately lower than real life. But also, like, I kind of wish that this was just kind of them driving and kind of having to deal with that. Like, imagine like Duel, but from the perspective of a dash cam where you have no idea why this person is trying to run you off the road and kill you.
That
and
would
stuff.
be cool, yeah.
Where like this supernatural thing, I feel like that just could have been done with any type of like found footage or even just like a cell phone or them like streaming with like a GoPro or something. Like I want them to take advantage of the idea that gets presented by formatting it through a dash cam.
Exactly, and that you just kind of sort of nailed the only way to do that is to make a movie that is like Duel.
Yeah.
But like like found footage ultimately it's just like the last gimmick was the zoom cam stuff, which is like Unfriended already had done it. Searching did it really well. So it just kind of feels like where it's like it's a dash cam and it's like that doesn't really bring anything to it unless it just feels like they didn't want to pay that much money. That's the thing is that like there's two types of found footage. There's some where it's like, oh, what a really good justification. And then there's another where it's like, oh, you just didn't want to pay for a good camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like with that,
like,
if you're having your limitations placed on you by like, okay, I can only afford it with this type of camera and stuff, like it kind of behooves you to find the right idea for that format. And like I said, that's the reason why I went with Duel, because everyone has dealt with or read about like road rage issues, and it just naturally kind of presents itself with like the Jaws shark popping out of nowhere. Like there's a lot of cheap and easy ways to get like scares with that. So them getting out of the car and just seeing a ghost, like, and their interactions happening outside of the car is like, that could have been any type of found footage thing. It really didn't need to be limited to dash cam. And if you're calling your movie dash cam, kind of, you need to have that. Yeah. So
yeah, this just feels like it's going to slip through the cracks ultimately.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll watch at some point. Yeah. Speaking of, sorry, this is unrelated. Speaking of David Robert Mitchell, I did learn what his next project is. He wrote a short film called They Hear It, and they're making that into a feature. He's also writing it, which is like a horror short about sounds that only kids can hear. And it sounds very David Robert Mitchell, and I'm very excited for that.
Cool.
That's all.
Yeah, I'll be into that. Just piggybacking off of what Logan said, they should remake Unhinged as a found footage dash cam movie.
Yes, see, there's been a ton of other movies with that. So you have
Russell Crowe popping out like the shark from Jaws.
That would be so
good. He
would
look so horrific through dash cam with just like the faded like colors and stuff. Just like a dead eyes, doll's eyes.
Deranged Russell Crowe.
Oh, yeah.
You have to chum the street for Russell Crowe, much like you chum the waters for the shark.
You have to shoot a barrel to like the trunk of Russell Crowe's car so that you can hear it rattling and popping out.
He's just dragging barrels down the street at like 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Bouncing all over the place, smashing into parked cars.
I don't know who we'd get for Roy Scheider, but like somebody's like on top of a light pole just shooting down at him like, smile, you son of a bitch. Blows up the car. Like, yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Man, I hope Hollywood's listening.
Yeah, we have a great movie for you
listening.
That's better than Dashcam right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, next trailer is for what is it? Angelyne. This is what is this on?
This is a Paramount Plus, I believe, limited series. Oh no, it's Peacock. It's Peacock limited series.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's from the writer of Lars and the Real Girl, who also did a lot of 6 Feet Under and True Blood. And Nancy Oliver. It's about based off a true story about a woman who in Hollywood put up a billboard of herself and just kind of rose to fame that way, which is an interesting idea, which is like the power of hype, the power of becoming someone who has not offering anything but hype around yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know when I'm assuming it's like 90s from the look of this trailer.
I think it's like early 90s,
more like 70s.
late 80s.
Oh.
If I recall.
Okay.
I thought it was even older than that.
Yeah, I don't.
It's hard to tell.
See, that's my issue with this is, you see this a lot with like some of these like docudrama type things that are coming out. I feel like some of the times they feel like people like they're presenting this like everyone knows who this person is, when this was a very much like a localized LA thing, I think.
Yes,
and if
this feels very much that way. Yeah,
I would rather see like a documentary series where we're getting like the visuals of that. Like, oh, here's like the news footage that happened from there. Here's like interviews with people in that, because like that's like the real story and not many people know it. When you have something like, I know that there's some like issues with the content of Pam and Tommy in terms of like Pam feeling like objectified and not them doing it like behind her back. But like with a story like that, everybody really knows that story. So you can present that as like a fictionalized take, and it's like, oh, this is just an interesting thing where you're seeing actors do this and that type of thing. But with like a story like this where no one really knows it, you can't really present it as like, oh, the legend of Angelyne. We all know this thing, right? No. Like I'd rather see like the real story instead.
84.
Sort of like...
I just looked it up. 84 was when her first billboards appeared.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've apparently been spoofed in like The Simpsons and shit. Like, but it is like an inside joke. So you're right. It worked better as a documentary. It also seems weird that like this isn't really like a judgment on this person because I don't know who this person is, but it looks like she like keeps running for
she keeps running for governor.
Yeah, and like it seems like her entire career is doing publicity stunts.
Yes.
And I don't know, personally I don't find that interesting, and then to make a series on it is just like, this just feels like playing into that,
if she
right?
came out like 10 or 15 years later, she just would have been a person on VH1 on one of their reality shows, and that would have been it.
Or like
so I think that's the reason. That's the reason to do a show like this, right?
Yeah.
Is to point out, it's like, well, influencer culture, quote unquote, existed before the internet. It existed before even reality TV. Like, this is.
And that's goes back to why I would rather see like the real documentary of that, like seeing that how that unfolded like then, rather than kind of like this dramatized version, which I don't know this person. I don't think most people do. So like the weird presentation there, it's I don't know. It's not so much this thing, but I've seen this with like other stuff where they've kind of been presenting like, you all know this real life story. It's like, no, I don't.
Right. She's also producing it. So it's like, I don't even think this will be necessarily like a good look at it. No. It's just going to be like, look how great she is. Like, it feels very like Wolf of Wall Street, where you're like, what was the point of that? You know, like
the movie produced by Jordan Belfort and featuring Jordan Belfort in the end.
Right. And like, it's not exactly the same, mainly because like, I'm just scanning this person's history. They don't seem like a bad person. They didn't do anything bad. They're not. I don't think they're preying on people. I mean, people, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong with that. So it just doesn't feel as shitty. It's just ultimately, when I watch this trailer, I'm like, I don't know if I need to watch that. That just sounds like someone hyping themselves. Yeah. And I don't know. I'd rather see, like you said, a documentary, like an actual look at this, and like something that's more analytical. I don't know if that's what it's going to be. I don't think it is.
I'm probably going to watch this because this kind of thing is like catnip for me. Like, I love like recent history shit, especially when it's like pop culture, especially when it's pop culture, recent history of Los Angeles.
Right.
I don't know why. It just really appeals to me. I like stories like this are fascinating to me. So
I will say
I'm gonna read all about Angelyne after we get done recording, and I will probably watch this series.
I will give this probably an episode just because I think Emmy Rossum is fucking fantastic in most things that she does. So, you know, I'm glad to see her doing something kind of really weird in this. So yeah.
Yeah. And again, the more I look at this, it really doesn't seem like she is a bad person.
No.
And there actually was already a documentary about her in 1995.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if this is people's cups of tea, yeah, that's how people talk.
Yeah,
they should check
I've
this
heard
out.
people say that.
Yeah.
I've heard
human
human lips make those sounds, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I'm less into this, I think.
I think it kind of depends on how many episodes this is. If this is like a quick 4-episode miniseries or something, then I might dive in. But if this is like 8 or something, I don't know if it's going to hold me for that long.
Yeah.
I got Bel Air to watch, man.
That's fair. I
got season 2 of Winning Time coming.
Oh God, I love Winning Time so much.
Speaking of Jason Clarke.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Let's speak of Jason Clarke. Let's talk about this next trailer for Black Site.
I wish
from Redbox Films.
Yeah, this is what's wild to me. There was a time where this would be playing in theaters.
Yes.
This looks like it has a big budget. It has like a lot of people behind it. And it's a fucking Redbox original.
This is the reuniting of the cast of Terminator Genisys that everyone has been waiting for.
Yeah.
Oh, right. With fucking Jay Courtney and Jason Clarke. Yeah. That's right.
I kind of wish that I'm really mad that they gave Jason Clarke's character a real name, because I just wanted to picture this as real Jason Clarke doing all these things, because he's so unhinged in every movie.
So they had to abduct Jason Clarke, the actor,
he's just
to a CIA
people.
black site.
He's just like, I'm gonna release every criminal. I'm Jason Clarke.
So it should be to explain what's happening. It's a group of it's Jay Courtney and like a group of like army guys.
Michelle Monaghan is the main character.
Yeah, there's a secret government black site, and there's a character, and so then Jason Clarke apparently plays a character named Hatchet, according to this.
Sure.
A high value detainee who's like, extremely deadly, and don't you know it, he escapes. And that's
and he lets them. This is the funny thing about this. The premise that this trailer presents is that Jason Clarke escapes. I think he's like former CIA, so he's just his character from Zero Dark 30.
I'm actually looking at the IMDb, and his character's name is actually Jason Hatchet Clarke. So,
perfect. Yeah. So he gets out. He lets all the other black site detainees out, and now Michelle Monaghan and Jay Courtney are like, we must stop this within the next hour. And if we don't, we're going to get, because of some automatic failsafe to prevent these black site detainees from getting out and, telling the rest of the world that we're holding them against their will in a CIA black site, we will be bombed by a drone and we will all be killed. That's, I sort of already tipped my hand, but I think it's very funny that this is trying to give us a Die Hard situation where it's like, oh, the inmates are running the asylum, except it's a black site, so it's like the inmates are people who are being held unconstitutionally.
Right, yeah.
And so it's like, am I supposed to feel bad for the CIA?
Also,
am I supposed to be rooting for the CIA to win in this? Because I want Jason Clarke to kill them all.
This movie absolutely feels like it should have come out in 2011.
This is an Iraq War movie.
This is a 2011, 2009 movie. This is not a 2022 film. Also,
this would have come out in 2009 and been called Guantanamo. Yeah. Okay, sorry, continue.
I like how high tech this black site looks when it's like, if you look at Gitmo and all this other places, it's like, those are just generally shithole jail cells where they're just beating the crap out of people with hoses and waterboarding them.
Right.
And they're presenting this as the secret thing that locks down all the programs, look at how high tech is. Nah.
Right, it's like, what is this, the Raft?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, it doesn't cost that much to keep people in a box.
Yeah, they keep them in a fucking jail cell that they leave maybe an hour a day if they're lucky, and that their fucking sink is above the toilet that they shit on, and they also get water from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. This is a silly film that I will be watching if it's available. I'm sure as fuck not gonna
we're gonna stream
do
this,
whatever
Dave.
Redbox wants me to do to watch it.
We're streaming this.
I feel bad because Michelle Monaghan is a great she's a really good actress, and she just keeps getting saddled with bullshit like this. Like, I want her to get better roles.
Wasn't she in that really fucking racist mini-series about, like, the second coming of Jesus? And he was an Arab guy that was secretly the
Messiah.
Antichrist, and like,
right,
and like, wasn't there something about like his name was like literally like Antichrist?
His name was Dajjal, which is fucking like pretty much the Antichrist in like Arabic. It's like Dajjal or something. It was something really obvious where if you were watching this, you're like, it's like if you named him John Antichrist in English. It was like, really? Really? And yeah, that show thankfully got canceled after one season. And it was, I think it was produced by, what's his name? The lunatic who does like The Apprentice, that Mark whatever, who's a super evangelical guy. Him and Roma Downey made that show. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she gets saddled in a lot of crap, but then she pops up in something like True Detective, and it's just like, oh yeah, she is a very good actress, and she deserves better.
And the
roles.
Craft Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see her in better stuff. But I will watch Black Site.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
If you don't, Jason Clarke will show up at your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will
exactly.
take you to his Black Site, which is just where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I want a film of just Jason Clarke and Russell Crowe just following somebody menacingly. That could be an entire
unrelated to each other. They just both happen to be menacing the same person. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I need to talk about this next trailer because this is fascinating.
Oh, shit, yes.
This is Escape the Field.
Dave,
yeah, why not?
Dave. You know escape room? What if escape room, but no room?
It's more like
what if it was like Escape Corn?
What if that again?
Yeah, it really is the same movie as Into the Tall Grass.
What if we just make that movie again and hope people forgot that other one exists? Like that's all. This is like. I'm just.
It looks so bad
by this. Yeah, called Escape the Field. For people who need to know, it's about people who wake up in a cornfield and they can't get out. So it's in the tall grass, but corn instead of grass, and they're being hunted by something. And man,
they have these this feels objects like that kind of give them clues, because I don't know if you saw this in the trailer, Dave, but I think there's more to these objects than their everyday functions is an actual line of dialogue.
Yep. That's a real cumbersome string of words to have to say.
Yeah.
Right. It is. Is this like... So I stumbled upon this trailer. How many people watch this trailer? I have to look at the view count. Because it looks very like... Yeah, it's Lionsgate.
It is the most Lionsgate movie imaginable. Like, you could tell what it is just by the first 30
It's got big
minutes.
Lionsgate energy. Yeah.
It does, but is Lionsgate now just like Asylum? Like, is that what's like? Because this feels like an
Asylum energy there.
Ripoff.
Yeah. They've always kind of had some of that like shitty Dimension Films type vibes there, but mixed with a little prestige every now and then. So, yeah.
Right, and they're pushing. Like, I'm looking on their website. They have clips. They have they're like, yeah, Escape the Field, baby.
This movie has some very shocking when he pops in Shane West. Like, just, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Pepsi
I didn't even realize that was him.
Coke. Oh, yeah. I was just like, oof, nope. Couldn't get sour, could you? Yeah.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Shane West. Man.
And I like
There's a blast from the past.
I like how the trailer initially presents them getting, like, snatched, because you see people getting grabbed when they're in the grass as it being kind of supernatural, but then ends with clearly just some random douchebags wearing masks coming out being all human. It's
right.
There's a lot of shooting yourself in the foot in this trailer.
Yeah, this is one where it's like I might have to watch this, but I'm not going to want to. I just feel like I need to. Like, I just need to see what this is.
I cannot wait to read the Wikipedia summary, just like I did with Escape Room and Escape Room 2. So, yeah.
Escape Room's okay. Escape Room
was better than I expected.
Yeah, which isn't to say it's good.
No,
It's
the ending is hilariously dog shit. But the rest of the movie, I was like, okay, escape room, not bad.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm not bored. All right, well we can
move on from that.
Yeah, we got a TV series here called Dark Winds. This is actually from
which one was
the
this?
creator of Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan.
Right. Yes. Okay, I am excited about this one.
So
yeah, and Fringe.
This is hilarious for multiple reasons. One, George R.R. Martin just like went on his blog and it was like, "It's coming. This thing is out here." And then I think it was Jason who was just like, he knows exactly what he's doing because he's just not talking about his fucking book. He's talking about another.
Right. He said the winds of June.
Yeah.
And it's people were like, oh shit, is he finally going to tell us when the winds of winter is coming out? He's like, no, what is this called? Dark Winds is coming out in June. The show I'm executive producing with Robert Redford. It's like, wow, there's a lot of information in that.
That is the second funny thing.
This?
Robert Redford is obsessed with this. Because this is not the first time he's done this. So this is based off of a detective series about two Native American cops. And he first made this movie in 1990 with Lou Diamond Phillips. And it was one of the first, I think it's the only actual fictional movie that Errol Morris has directed. The documentary filmmaker. Is that Errol Morris? Yeah, Errol Morris. Yeah, he directed that, and he got fired like halfway through because he kept fighting with Redford, and it's a bad film. But then Redford did another 3 movies of this on PBS in the early 2000s that are actually good with Wes Studi and Adam Beach. So he's just obsessed with getting this property to launch. Like, this has been
he's just like,
I
want
thing
this to work.
For this detective franchise that he's been obsessed with.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it does seem good.
Oh, no, I'm excited for this.
It's just, yeah.
And the writer's room is all native, too, which is just going to support the hell out of that. And the other weird thing is, this is directed by the guy who made the movie. Have you ever seen Smoke Signals? That guy also directed one of the 2000 movies that Redford did. So he brought him back for that. So he just...
It really is just like Robert Redford and this guy. Like, we'll get it next time.
Yeah, because I was like, because at first I was like, why isn't Adam Beach in this? If he did, and I'm like, oh yeah, he was in that other one that I saw earlier with Wes Studi.
The other adaptation of this book series. No, the guy who's the lead, Zane McLarnon, is really good. He was in season 2 of Fargo.
He was in Hawkeye.
Yeah,
also.
he was.
Oh, word. Oh, and he was in that fucking excellent episode of Westworld.
Yeah.
Second season of Westworld.
Yeah, so like the cast.
Yeah, he's great.
Also, like the rest of this cast too. Like I'm really, really happy that Ryan Wilson has just become become like character actor Rainn Wilson. Like he's just, I really like the weird choices he's been making with stuff.
Yeah, he looks like a bad guy in this.
Yes, he is.
Or like at the very least, like a fucking character that you're like, I don't know about that guy. Like,
so
this is gonna be straight up good. It's basically it's a detective. It's a gritty detective show.
6 episode
and like
miniseries.
if you're into that, this is gonna be great. Like, and I'm into that.
Yeah, there's no way I'm not going to watch this. So, and if they make the other books, if this is good, then fine. And also, like I said, full native writer's room. So, want to support stuff like that because this is just like the beginning of native writers and directors getting opportunities like that between this and like Res Dogs and what's that one on Peacock? Rutherford Falls, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
So we're starting to get a lot more like representation there. So, and like it helps that these all look really good. So yeah, I'm kind of pretty excited for this.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because it looks in part like a more like a straightforward murder mystery, but also like some, I don't know, Jacob's Ladder elements where it's like there's some stuff that looks like it could be supernatural, but also like could be just inside people's minds. I don't know.
Well,
I'm interested in watching this.
I mean, again, that's the beauty of these dark detective things is they're all kind of it's like when you actually boil it down to like what happens, it's like, oh yeah, it's just like this could have been an episode of Law and Order, but they stretch it out and make it like weird and brooding and cosmic, and it's like I fucking love this bullshit.
Yes,
I love
hell
it.
yes.
Yeah,
this is right. This is right.
Great.
Right next to, right on the shelf next to like recent history pop culture stuff for me. It's like yes.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. All right. Well, this next trailer is for Now and Then, not
Which
the
is
1995
not
movie.
the Christina
This is
Ricci
very
movie,
different.
although she will be appearing later on in this doc.
Yes. This is like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It's 100%. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, but it seems like it's what I like about it. It's I Know What You Did Last Summer. If the fisherman was like, I'll accept a bribe.
Right. I'm just gonna blackmail you instead of murder everybody.
And I honestly like the idea of like Michael Myers, like this whole time, if you just slipped him $100 bill, he'd leave you alone. I love that. I love that version of a slasher. But yeah, this is a group of friends who hit someone with their car as youths, and then as adults, someone is blackmailing them about it. And Rosie Perez is there, and that's the selling point for me.
Yeah, she's like a detective that's investigating them, and it's like a multilingual production, so like 3/4 of the trailers in Spanish.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
Apple TV.
Yeah,
I think every time I've been on here, we've done like an Apple TV show, and here's the thing that I've kind of noticed recently: Apple TV's batting average is surprisingly
really good.
So fucking good compared to it's
good.
better than Netflix, it's better than Peacock, and it's better than Hulu. Like they just have a bunch of really good fucking shows in a wide variety of genres.
Yeah.
Their comedies are good, their dramas are good, their sci-fi is good. It's incredible.
They do some really interesting swings that all seem to work out. Yeah, their computers are terrible, but they should really stick to this. Like, this is what whoever they got running it, knows
they make good choices,
shit.
and I think it's also they realized, or at least when they were starting, they weren't like the first choice of people, so they got the weirder projects that would get rejected by folk, because that's how they got along to the After Party with Chris Miller, and I think that's how they did Severance. But there's a bunch of great shows on there, and I think maybe a year and a half ago, I'd been like, it's Apple TV. Maybe I'll check it out. But now it's like, oh, it's Apple TV. It might be worth watching.
Yeah, this looks fascinating. This and Dark Winds, my only hesitation is it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, God, I need a chunk of time to do this. Because I really want to watch both of these. But it's like, God damn it, that's a whole show.
Yeah.
But people should check out this trailer. It's fairly straightforward, but it just looks like it's just sopping with intrigue, you know? Where it's
there's a little bit of Yellow Jackets in there as well.
I've seen this type of premise with a couple other shows where it's like, oh, a reunion, and then they have some type of dark thing. I think there was literally a show called Reunion on Fox 15 years ago, and that just kind of is catnip for me too, just because I love watching the flashbacks and flash forwards with that stuff. And I guess that's kind of one of the reasons I liked After Party too, which again, if you haven't seen it on Apple TV, go watch it. So they make good shows, man.
It's just good, man. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's like that. Have you seen Severance yet?
No, I haven't seen it. You're the 148th person to tell me to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm gonna.
Severance is good. After Party is good. For All Mankind is surprisingly good. And just, lots of other good stuff there. So.
Oh, yeah, that's the Straczynski show, isn't it?
No, that's Ronald Moore. It's the alternate reality where the Russians landed on the moon first, and then shit just goes weird from there. Yeah.
I mixed up the names, the writer names. I was thinking of Ronald D. Moore, but I called him Straczynski.
But
a real noob.
Straczynski might actually be doing something on there too, but I'm not sure. But Apple, like I said, and that doesn't even get to Mythic Quest and all the other stuff that they have. So, Ted Lasso. Yeah. Sorry, I'm shilling for Apple Plus right now.
No, I get it. You're getting paid by Apple.
I don't even pay for Apple Plus, which is weird.
Oh, that's why you're doing this.
Yeah, no, I got a free year because of my phone. So
and they just keep giving it to me. The more I talk,
I've gotten
nice
2
about
free
their
years
shows.
out of Apple Plus so far. But I will say this: if it did get once that expires, I would actually pay for Apple Plus, which is something I never thought I would say.
Oh yeah, no. I think we talked about that on maybe a week or two ago. But yeah, it's they give away so many of these subscriptions.
Yeah.
Like I've had it for 2 years. I don't think I've paid for it yet.
No, but I would. I would pay for that before I probably would pay for Hulu.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I do
pay.
pay. I just got Apple Plus. I have yet to actually open the app.
Oh, I will say this about the app too.
I will.
It's not
I
as
will.
garbage as like the HBO Max app or
or Disney Plus. Disney Plus seems to want to hurt me. Like they just do not. Like when you cannot, like I watch The Simpsons on Disney Plus, and I can't for the life of me continue where I left off.
No, you sure
they
can't,
just
Dave.
Don't, yeah, it's ridiculous.
You also can't restart the episode unless you back out,
right?
Open the episode and rewind it to the beginning.
Yep.
Right. You can't.
You can't go to the next episode either.
Yep. Yeah. It's like what the fuck, Disney.
Every app is terrible, but like I said, Apple Plus is slightly less terrible. Like,
well, this next trailer is for Monstrous, with the aforementioned Christina Ricci. This is about, I don't know, a demon?
I guess it's like Christina Ricci is mom. She moves her little boy out into a house on the lake, and there's a monster in the lake.
I'm looking at
this
the
is one of those
IMDb,
ones-
and it also says that is Jason Clarke. So
In the lake?
yes,
Yeah, that makes sense. I was going to assume that it was.
This is a case where if you look at the director's past, they haven't done anything that like stands out. If it weren't for Christina Ricci, I would completely write this off. But like, it's Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci
so
and
like,
horror
I'm like,
is just,
I'll watch
I
this.
will immediately watch this.
Yeah, I did just mention Yellow Jackets, which I didn't end up caring for that much, but she's great in it.
Right. Where Ricci's back. Like we got that Wednesday show that's coming up. She was in The Matrix. And
that's right, she was for about 3 seconds.
And Yellow Jackets. So it's just like, I don't know. I want to see what this is. Maybe it's trash. But when does that stop me from watching a movie?
Maybe, Dave, maybe it's Jason Clarke as a bog monster.
Yeah, that would be so good.
Yes.
It looks like a period piece too, just by the way she's dressed. And...
Yeah, it looks like a heightened reality.
Or something like that.
There's something because it's about a woman with her 7-year-old kid, and she's escaping a abusive ex-husband, and there's a demon coming out of the lake, and they do this thing, and I do think it's a period piece, but they do this thing where like she talks about how she's like not on her pills or something, and like she's like hallucinating too.
Yeah, that's really
or, like,
sweatily thrown in there, just like that.
Yeah, and like the tone is very like happy-go-lucky, and at parts, and it's like they're clearly going for something.
She almost has like a Stepford Wives feeling to her in some of the
where it's like, oh, is it just her, or is
it looks more interesting than that quick plot description probably sounded.
Sure.
The period piece stuff is kind of interesting too, because they're going with like those bright colors of that era, and it kind of is a nice contrast with like the swamp bog monster. So it kind of to go back to like Thor, what we were talking about there, like it would have been really easy to present this as just like, oh, this is a swamp monster, let's have everything be kind of muted earth tones or like hyper blue and stuff like that. So kind of having like that bounce off of brightness is just a good choice. So visually it actually looks cool.
Yeah, it's doing a thing that could be very good.
Yeah.
The demon itself looks kind of interesting, although they don't show it much.
It kind of looks like Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I'm seeing
it looks
still,
like if
and the
Swamp
still
Thing
of it
had a child with the alley monster from Mulholland Drive.
Yeah. The still image I'm looking at, it just looks like another demon. Like it looks like a Blumhouse demon. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do with that. But it I don't know. There's some shots in this that look creepy. This could be a very good movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will watch it.
I will watch
I'll
it.
Give it a shot.
Our last trailer is for The Kids in the Hall. This is apparently a sketch series of some sort, starring a bunch of
sketch
old people.
Comedy, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
I like that we're talking about it with a Dave we know.
Yeah, that's true. This is I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's just like, yeah, of course.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean-
You tell me that you're giving me more Kids in the Hall. You don't have to. You just tell me where. That's it. That's all I need to hear.
Yeah. Here's what I find exciting is if you go on the credits, there's a lot of modern comedians and actors in it. Mark Hamill is apparently going to be in it. So, like, it's one of those cases where, like, the original Kids in the Hall was, like, you know, it was very small scale, and now
It was pretty underground, even though it's produced by Lorne Michaels and was on HBO.
Exactly. And now it's since gained that cult popularity to the point that this one is like, oh, yeah, people are going to want to be in it, you know? And it's going to be fun to see, like, Will Forte is going to be in an episode.
Oh,
and
of
it's
course,
like,
yeah.
oh, him and a Kids
Perfect.
in the Hall sketch.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's I just hope it's everything, you know, I want it to be. I think Kids in the Hall, I always, you know, I thought they had a pretty good, like, rate when you, like, watch an episode straight through.
Right. Even when a sketch doesn't hit, it's usually...
It's so fucking weird.
It's so
usually.
bizarre. Yeah, that you're just like, I'm... It's still, like, kept me engaged, and
Yeah.
even as, like, a 10-year-old kid when that was real tough.
I think it's legitimately
yeah.
my favorite, like, of the 90s sketch boom shows. Just, like...
It's one of my favorite theme songs. It's that theme
Girl
song's
Drink
so
Drunk is still goddamn hilarious with Dave Foley. Just, oh, God. But,
Yeah.
no, it's... I never really got tired of any of those people. So, and they, from what I know, they haven't turned out to be giant, like, trash monsters. So I'm excited to see them come back.
Yeah, if anything, they've just sort of kept to themselves. Yeah, it
Well,
is
Scott,
very
it was
much
interesting.
like...
Scott Thompson showed up, like, in a lot of dramatic roles. Like, he's a recurring character on Hannibal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
he is.
wild.
He's fantastic.
He's
Fuck.
he's one of the
CSI.
CSI. He's one of the CSI guys.
Yes.
On Hannibal.
No shit. That's literally like, I know there's other reasons to watch Hannibal, but that's the reason for me.
You not having seen that is very surprising to me.
I watched a few episodes. The problem isn't like, it's always the same problem with me, which is like, unless I get immediately addicted to a show, I just don't have any time. So like, I don't know. Like I need to finish Succession. I started watching the new season of Succession, a show I like, and then I just stopped having time. And so I don't know. It's a personal issue. Doesn't matter for a podcast. But yeah, that looked like a really good show as well. And just the fact that fucking Scott Thompson is in it, it's delightful.
Yes.
It's pretty nuts. I think it took like almost the entire episode for my brain to accept that it was him. Not for me to notice that it was him, for me to accept it.
Yeah, because you're just like, wait, what?
No, that can't be him. Like,
Yeah.
also, what would he be doing?
Why would
this?
that be him?
I think that's probably the weirdest cast member of the Kids in the Hall who you could have picked to have been on there.
I think Kevin McDonald might have been a little wilder.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Kevin McDonald. Okay, correct.
Just freaking out at each crime scene.
Kevin McDonald's eyes when he's looking at a crime scene alone would have been hilarious.
He's like a human beaker, like the Muppets character. Like, that's Kevin McDonald.
How have we not just had like a sketch with him and Bill Hader just bugging their eyes out, looking at shit? Like, he needs to be in Barry. That's what needs to happen.
That would be the best kind of chaos. Yes. Maybe he'll show up in season 3 of Barry, which is coming out soon.
Oh man. Other people who was in this. So I said Mark Hamill, Pete Davidson, Fred Armisen, Catherine O'Hara. That's fucking. That's
the
a
Canadian
smart fit.
connection right there.
Yeah, Eddie Izzard. I said Will Forte, Keenan Thompson. Colin Mockery. That's another Canadian one. Samantha Bee. So yeah, it's gonna be fucking. I don't even know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be fucking wild. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know when. I'm sure they told us in the trailer, but I forgot.
I don't know how many episodes it is either. So
I think 6 or 8 is what I remember reading, but I could be completely wrong.
It's
so
gonna be,
pretend I didn't even say a number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be disappointingly small number.
Yeah.
You guys remember when Bruce McCullough directed Stealing Harvard with Jason Lee and Tom Green?
Yes.
I remember that movie. I didn't know he
Leslie
directed
Mann.
it.
He did, and he had a cameo in it. Sorry, that's all. That's the. I just remembering that movie existed.
Remember when Dave Foley had to interact in multiple years of news radio with Joe Rogan?
With Joe Rogan?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never seen news radio, and the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, I should probably watch that just as like an artifact.
It was a good show. Like, yeah,
it was. It definitely wasn't a bad show. Yeah,
it's got Stephen
strategic
Root.
use of. Yeah, Stephen Root, fucking Phil Hartman until he died, and then John Lovitz took over in his role, which is,
it's so weird.
If you have to replace Phil Hartman, that's a good pick.
Yeah,
that's not a bad pick.
Moira McTierney.
Yeah, there are people in news radio.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in news radio.
Yes,
like Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, exactly.
Yeah, what is he doing in news radio?
He's the janitor, and I have a joke fan theory that the reason he started a podcast empire was because he was the only cast member who wasn't allowed to have a radio show on news radio. That's his revenge.
Sure.
Now I have the only radio show.
Andy Dick was in that.
Oh,
Jesus
God, I forgot
Christ.
about that. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, there is an uncomfortable amount of Andy Dick in there. Oof.
I remember it being like a good strategitic use of Andy Dick, but yes, it is Andy Dick.
It's Andy Dick on tranquilizers. He's a subdued Andy Dick. Like those pictures of douchebags where they hang out with a chained up tiger where it's drugged up and stuff. That's the level of Andy Dick that you're getting on news radio.
Yeah.
Right.
They had to have Jack Hanna come in and sedate him. Bringing a tiger onto Carson.
They had to put the mask on him every time his scene was over. It's just actually, for that last season, they probably just had John Lovitz there as muscle.
Right, you had to beat his ass and he
out of
steps
Andy
out of
Dick
line again. Yeah. Oh, Google that story
Google
if you don't know
John Lovitz Andy Dick fight for some comeuppance right there. Yeah.
That is weird. That, I can't imagine seeing that. It feels like the universe would there would be a tear a hole in the universe or something.
The fabric would tear and you would see into your own eyes as a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you would just immediately look like Sam Neill in Event Horizon.
Yeah. Simultaneously, Sam Neill simultaneously in the end of Event Horizon and in the end of In the Mouth of Madness.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Just with his eyes gouged out, sitting alone in a movie theater, watching the film he just experienced, laughing his ass off.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys want to thank some more producers before we get into news stories?
Love for you to thank producers. Yeah.
I can't wait, Dave.
Big thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thank you to Definitely Not Guillermo del Toro.
We're on to you.
Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Sure do.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Han Toomey, the confused cyborg.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Happy Ed 209.
Happy Ed 209 to you too. Let me jump in here. Thank you to Tiger George Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd. Thank you to Manischewitz Maltov says economic solidarity is the path to paradise, comrades.
Thank you.
Thank you to E.T. the Extravagant Terresticle. Thank you to Cody Johnston's Time Machine Noise. Thank you to Pete Forpagel. Thank you to Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory.
Thank you.
Thank you to pre-order Jason Pargin's new book. Pre-orders are super important.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about Netflix.
Okay.
They lost a bunch of subscribers. Everybody is like calling it like a death rattle. I don't know if that's true.
No, I think that's a lot of hyperbole.
Everybody has like 12 different theories as to what's happening, and they all sound equal parts bullshit. Where if you like look at like the actual statement, they're like, yeah, we lost a lot of subscribers from Russia, which makes a lot of sense, but also I don't think they're dying.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not going to be gone by the end of the year. Calm down.
I mean,
and apparently Elon Musk claimed it was because of wokeness.
Of course he did.
And it's like, what does that even mean, Elon?
He's on a whole... Listen, that's for a different podcast. He's on a whole fucking...
Someone
kamikaze tear
pointed
right now.
out, wokeness, after they gave hundreds of millions of dollars to Dave Chappelle to do like anti-trans comedy special.
And they just did a fucking ass-kissing documentary about Elon and SpaceX.
Right. They've done several Elon Musk documentaries.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It reminds me of when every now and then people will be like, oh, cracked fired everybody because of wokeness.
Got woke,
and it's like,
broke.
Do you think do you think they like got us in a room and said, sorry, you're a bunch of cucks?
I literally had this conversation with Jeff on his podcast the other day. I'm like, no, that's funny. Not even like... You could put together a list of 500 things, and that wouldn't even be on there. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right, it's very funny because it's just like but it's very funny, but it's expected when it's like random people on the internet. When it's like Elon Musk, it's like, come on, man, what are you even talking about? But you're right, Tom. It's for a different podcast. But like, also, I just want to say, Netflix does have one of the worst user interfaces. It is trying to charge people more money constantly, and it cancels everything. And it's like, yeah, I mean, people aren't gonna subscribe to you as much. There's millions of streaming services.
Yeah, there's like
that are doing better.
There are like Logan said, there's a million different takes on why this is happening, but it's like there is legitimately like 20 different reasons that are all probably contributing, and of course that's definitely probably the biggest one. In if I were to guess, is the fact that over the past year, like, we've had 5 times as many streaming services. Like, every major studio has their own streaming service, and they're all steadily reclaiming their own
that's
property,
right
basically
there.
their own shows.
I mentioned that like they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on comedy specials, and that's just the creative stupidity choice that they made, because what they should have done, they were losing The Office, they were losing Friends. People want to watch like long going comedy that they could watch, like, oh, I have 10 seasons of The Office to binge through. If you watch one Dave Chappelle special, you're not watching that 100 times over. So what they really should have been doing is investing in making their own fucking sitcoms that couldn't be yanked away. And they kind of had that with, I think, One Day at a Time was the one that they canceled like multiple times. Oh God, The Ranch. Oh yeah. If they had invented some good ones, they could have had shows that were 10 seasons long that people would want to watch. But like, there's multiple weird creative choices there, and as you mentioned, it's canceling shows.
It's not a mystery, it's not wokeness. It's just like, you don't have as much to offer, and
it's a lot more competition.
I don't know, maybe don't autoplay everything in the menu. Maybe make original stuff. But also, honestly, I liked Netflix the best when it was like, I want to watch a 90s Denzel Washington film. Guess who's there for me? So, like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it doesn't seem like a big mystery. It's just like, you're less good. You've been less good.
It's 1,000 times more competitive than it was even 2 years ago. And Netflix kind of doesn't have anything.
That's their issue.
It's on all the other streaming services.
They invested heavily in singular movies and singular comedy specials instead of recurring type of things that would just have people like binge watching, which is the whole point of streaming. So
they're also kind of, whoever's making the choices, I think, just doesn't know. Like, remember when Stranger Things came out and it was buried?
Yes.
And I think me and you, Tom, I know we had the same experience, which was like, oh, look at this show that's here.
Yeah,
like,
let's
no
just
one
watch
told
it.
me about this show.
We hadn't heard anything about it.
It's like Netflix has no idea what people like, and they probably have some algorithm that they constantly refer to that just misses the point. which is like just have like good people with really strong ideas make your shows, and then stick with those shows
if they were
like long enough for them to get a fan base.
If they were smarter, I think that one of the few areas that they could still kind of lean harder into is the foreign content, because I mean Squid Game did gangbusters, and there's a bunch of other like they have a bunch of shows from Japan and like other territories and stuff that they could bring over that just WB probably wouldn't do, or even like Hulu, that they could just lean into that international market. And also that brings more diversity, but who knows? I'm not smart.
I think I think it's yes and no, because I think they saw Squid Game success and they're like, okay, buy everything from Korea, from South Korea. And it's like, well, okay. Like, it feels algorithm-y where they're like, why did this work? And they're like, I don't know, because it's from South Korea. All right, yeah, let's go with that. And like, yeah, South Korea has a lot of great shit. But like, I don't think they understand nuance when they are trying to figure out what to do next.
Also, like,
right. Yeah, South Korea is not a genre, but anyway.
Exactly.
They did a smart thing with like trying to grab some of like just big creatives from television. Like they locked up Shonda Rhimes.
Rhimes, yeah. Bridgerton is probably keeping them afloat right now.
Yeah, so that's probably like their go-to, is just like they should have probably grabbed Greg Daniels, and Ted Lasso should have just been a Netflix show, or
they bet big on Shonda, which is turned out to be smart, and Ryan Murphy, which has turned out to be not smart.
Never bet on Ryan Murphy. He's a wild beast. Like, just oof.
Man.
Is Hollywood any good? That show?
It was okay. I probably gave it one of the best reviews it got, and I was a little embarrassed after the fact, but I did enjoy it.
Oh, they bet on Benioff and Weiss. That was the other thing. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, there's some buyer's remorse there.
Well, so they took so much money, invested in a few big creatives, so they did. It's not like they didn't roll the TV dice. But they're also, I think, what's been apparently most important to Netflix since Beast of No Nation's Oscar push that failed and didn't get any Oscar noms, is they really want to be taken legitimately as a movie studio. So they keep sinking hundreds of millions of dollars into stuff like Extraction and Red Notice and the Atom Project. And it's like, guys, that's, like you were just saying, one big movie is not gonna do it.
Back to the Apple Plus thing. Apple Plus already has an Oscar win for Best Picture.
Yeah. It's more of like, okay, if you want to be a movie studio, be a movie studio. Yeah. Don't be a streaming service. Like, and this was the problem that's been happening, forever, which is that first was these services were like, we're going to host movies. We're going to be the new Blockbuster. And now they're like, we're going to be the new Blockbuster and the new, like, big hot movie studio. And it's like, well, you either have to have the money to maintain that. You have to be Amazon or Apple, where it's like, yeah, they just have so much money because they do so much other things. Or you just have to focus on one or the other. Also, I think Netflix might have... maybe they should have just stuck to like.
There was a reason Blockbuster never started making movies.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Apple and Amazon
Netflix is
also
terrible at making movies too.
Really, pretty much are. Amazon and Apple have the additional thing of they're still libraries, like where you can go and purchase movies and TV shows that air on other streaming platforms. So they still technically have everything.
Not only that,
not just what's on Prime.
Billion-dollar company is completely separate from anything they're offering. So it's like Netflix has Netflix. You don't have
exactly.
So
Amazon Prime is but one arm of Jeff Bezos's $80 billion empire, however much it's worth
also,
right now.
To go back to what Dave said about the algorithm thing, like a lot of the thing they invest heavy on in their movies just feel really fucking hollow. Like Red Notice is terrible. And I mean, Atom Project was watchable, but it just felt like, here, Ryan Reynolds, do whatever you want, save us, please. So
They make like mid 2000s movies. Like they've had some good ones in the mix. Whenever they try to go for an Oscar, it's like, oh, okay, this is usually good. Roma was good.
The child beating
but when they
scene
try
in
to do
Extraction, where he beats up 17 kids, just fantastic film work. Tom, I know you love it.
28 seconds. 28 seconds. Yeah, topples those kids.
What was his name? Rake.
When they tried to go for
Tyler Rake, motherfucker, he's coming back. Anyway,
but when they try to go for blockbusters, they just fundamentally don't know how to make one.
They tried to get into the comic book thing, and they bet on Mark Millar, which was not the right choice right there.
Right. And here's the other thing: why are you trying to make big, broad blockbusters when you're a streaming service? You can make indie films, so it just. And then again, it's the fact that all these other companies like HBO and Paramount, like they have so much stuff they already owned before they were a streaming service that their libraries are huge. So it's Netflix naturally is going to be pushed out.
The smartest thing they tried, but I think they were a little embarrassed by, is they went heavy on rom-coms in like just the age where those aren't really getting theatrical stuff. But it seems like I don't know, they want to be like the big action stuff. They want to get like those huge home runs when, man, you need to settle for some doubles and triples and just get on base.
Just get on base. Right. Yeah. Get some numbers on the board, man.
And again, it's tough because they don't have a library. They're trying to build a library in real time.
That, focus on shit that doesn't cost as much. Comedy, rom-coms, horror, even they killed their animation wing right now. That.
Yeah, try to be niche. Yeah. Try to do. I don't know.
It's weird.
They're also just so woke.
I know.
Yeah, honestly, that's what it is. That's what it all comes down to, is how woke they are.
Because you see them and you're like, they're at the line of woke and they're going broke.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. They're tipping over into broke territory.
We're like, broke folks. Oh God, Babylon joke right there. Yeah.
So Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are making a movie together. Ben Affleck is directing. Matt Damon is writing, I believe. It's about Nike getting Michael Jordan's endorsement, which just sounds like the most boring story ever told. Maybe it's.
I think they're going to try to Big Short it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that.
That's like the vibe right now between, Big Short and McKay stuff and Winning Time.
It will absolutely be the scene from, if you guys haven't seen it, there's a part in episode 4, I think, where they show Magic talking to a bunch of sneaker companies, and they literally have, I think it is Phil Knight from Nike going up to him and we'll make the Air Magic, and they're talking about how they were third place in there, and I think just that whole scene is going to be the whole show, except centered around Michael Jordan. So
yeah, it just rubs me the wrong way to be the heroic story of ad executives or whatever, and it's
we talked about this. I mean, I think last time when we were making fun of the Uber show that they made, there's entirely too much of this bullshit. I understand something like The Social Network because there's some type of internal drama, but even that was 10 years early because you could make an entire sequel on that. But I don't give a shit about WeWork. I don't care about Uber. Unless the Nike thing is examining Michael Jordan and his cultural impact, but they say in the press release that Michael Jordan will not be on camera and they're not casting an actor. He's just going to be a background ominous figure. So
it's one of those things where I read this and I'm like, I guess that must be an interesting story. They're making a movie about it. And then I think about the other things they've made movies about and I'm like, or not. Or it's just going to be told in a quirky way.
Yeah.
And just I don't know.
I mean, there's something about obviously Nike and Air Jordans, that's why sneaker collectors exist, right? That's why that whole industry exists.
They changed
because
sneakerhead culture. Yeah, they invented it.
Yeah, of this company and this specific shoe, the Air Jordan. So there's something to be said about let's examine the cultural significance of it. But the wheeling and dealing of the people who made the deal with Michael Jordan is arguably the least interesting part of that story.
Yeah,
because that's where it begins. You want to talk about the impact and the what it's done and how that, like, what role that shoe had in solidifying. Because I think I probably, as a little kid, I probably knew what Air Jordans were before I knew who Michael Jordan was.
Yeah,
right.
That's partially because I grew up in Europe when Michael Jordan was first blowing up. But
I was in Chicago, so this was a very huge part of my childhood.
Yeah, so you didn't miss this.
No, absolutely not.
But, so yeah, I agree. Like this, I agree that this does not seem like an interesting movie. I do still think this is a worthy subject, but like, boy, this seems like the wrong thing to focus on. Like, this should be an element of the movie, but not the entire movie.
Yeah, this goes back to the I forgot her name, Angelyne type thing, where I think I'd be more interested in like a 3-part doc where they just show like the impact and history of like sneaker culture and maybe interview basketball players, interview hip hop folk, interview like the actual Phil Knight and talk about like what he had to do to like kind of turn that around. Whereas I just don't know where the drama comes between like, hey, we need to sign Michael Jordan. Hey, we signed Michael Jordan. And the whole time you don't actually see Michael Jordan. So
right.
Yeah. Like there's going to be a dramatic scene where they show the first Air Jordan, and it's like going to be a sweeping shot, and it's like, oh, holy shit, Jordan 1s. And like, I don't see how that's a movie.
No, I don't either.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's weird. Like, I guess Damon and Affleck have good chemistry, so I mean that might be worth watching. But
they have a track record, of projects they've written together and stuff that Affleck has directed. Yeah, so he's got a track record.
I don't know, and like I said, like I mean, Ford versus Ferrari sounded like kind of a boring premise and stuff, and that turned out really a great watch. So yeah, who knows?
Right. You know what is going to be great? The live-action Minecraft movie starring Jason Momoa.
Sure.
That is coming out.
I recognize those are words that you have said. I refuse to attach any meaning to them.
Do we know who's making it? I'm so excited.
I'm looking, and it says Martin Scorsese.
Oh my God! It's the director of Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, Jared Hess. Yeah, right. That's right.
Holy shit! I'm so excited, you guys.
This was originally supposed to be Rob McElhenney, and then he just dropped out. So yeah, okay, so it is Jared Hess.
Yeah. It's I think it'll work. I think it'll work out. I know I'm going to see this movie.
Well, yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that this is going to probably take cues from the Lego movie, like everything it's been trying to do with this type of thing.
So I disagree, because it's live action.
Wait, what?
So it's live action. It's a live action film. So I'm assuming Jason Momoa will play Steve, the main Minecraft character. And like, honestly, if you just did the story of someone beating Minecraft, as in like the beats that you need to beat Minecraft and kill the Ender Dragon, that could be a story.
I legitimately want Jason Momoa to get swoller than he has ever gotten for any role. And then I want them to put like block padding armor so that he looks like the Minecraft block character anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want that.
Oh, just get him blocky muscles.
Yeah, like I want him I want him the square that like Ben Affleck was as Batman, where he's just a walking rectangle.
Yeah. No, they could legit make this like a Dungeons and Dragons type adventure, because the beats are just, you have to create a portal, you go to the Nether, you fight your blazes, you fight your skeletons, your wither skeletons,
your brobits.
You have to fight Endermen, who are terrifying. Deal with creepers, and then you got to get to the stronghold, and you got to open the portal and fight the dragon. Like that can just be an adventure. Where it's like, yeah, you just like, that could be fucking Lord of the Rings, you guys. They should stretch this into 3 movies, right? Is everybody with me on this?
I hate you, Dave.
I did not know that Minecraft had a plot until you just went through that, because I thought it was like The Sims.
It has, well...
It's not a plot, it's a sequence of events.
Okay.
It's not a plot. It's an open world sandbox game where you can beat the game.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. I thought it was literally just Sims, like I'm going to build a city, and that's it. Yeah. So.
Well, what makes it work really well is after beating the game, you can still do more stuff. You can go to the end and find the end cities, and that's how you get your wings. There's a bunch of things to do. They're just adding the warden. I'm very excited about the warden, but like there's a general beginning, middle, end to how to actually just beat the game. And I really think if you just turn that into a movie, obviously there's no like characters in Minecraft. You're the character, the person playing it. So you could have a lot of fun with that. Again, much like Dungeons and Dragons, a movie that really worked out. You can kind of like there's types of creatures, and so you just have to like include them in it and just tell a story of like a Hobbit-like adventure through this land. That's all.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It'll be great, you guys. Or it'll be Jason Momoa like making like weird redstone contraptions aimed at murdering like a bunch of cows at once. That would also be fun. I hope
it's just Jason Momoa playing Minecraft for 2 hours.
That would I would love that. Yeah. And like not really getting that far and
just
getting kind of frustrated.
He's never played it before. No one told him what to do.
Yeah, he keeps looking at the camera.
But it's like filmed like
not
an
understanding
film. It's like
how
the
game
best
works.
Twitch stream. Yeah. It's the best directed Twitch stream ever.
Yeah. But honestly, you could make a really decent Minecraft movie, if only because all Minecraft is a world. And so like you can tell any story you want in that world. So like a good writer could legitimately make a Minecraft movie that's like not bad. You could also make a terrible one.
I think there are infinitely more chances to make a terrible one. Like it's like literally the Lego movie, right? So unless they do something like the Lego movie, like what even is the universe of Minecraft? Everything is blocks.
Everything is blocks.
That's what I mean is you don't have to do. Here's the problem is you would ignore the block stuff. You would ignore the mining and the crafting. Honestly, like you wouldn't need him like crafting a pick, punching trees. You just take the universe with all the creatures, which is like
I'm gonna raise an objection because I would absolutely watch Jason Momoa punching trees to make a pickaxe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the only version of this movie that I want to see.
But I think the strength in Minecraft as a story is the fact that Minecraft has actually very unique creatures, very unique enemies that you have to deal with. I mean, they have a few that are like just zombies and skeletons, but like Endermen are very specific creatures. Creepers are very specific. And so like you could make a fantasy world that's live action that just looks like Lord of the Rings, looks like any other... it doesn't have to be Lord of the Rings, but you know what I mean. It just looks like woods and deserts and landscapes. And it could actually like feel kind of unique and good. And you can put really any character story in that. So like, you're right, is that more likely than not, this is going to be bad. But it's frustrating because you could make a good movie out of Minecraft. You really could. And it would be surprisingly faithful to the game. You just have to make the world exist.
I will say that this doesn't sound like the worst video game movie that's been announced like recently, because there's a bunch of shitty ones they've called out. So
yeah. Think the Warcraft movie. It's like it would be like that. Where it's like Warcraft, I think Warcraft has more plot probably.
Warcraft has a lot of plot.
There is a lot
Warcraft
of
is also
talk and orc talk and
right, but it's also a lot of world, right? Like Warcraft is a game where you could just explore that world.
There's a world of Warcraft, Dave.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, it's similar where it's like it's a fantasy world. It has different realms and different magical like elements. And so you could just take that and put a plot over it, and it would work pretty good.
So how do they fit Chris Pratt into this?
He'll be in there somewhere. Yeah,
he'll play the creepers.
He'll be everything. He'll be every character.
Yeah,
he will voice Jason Momoa.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be so weird.
I'm so excited.
Let's move on.
So excited for Minecraft.
Dave.
I want to play Minecraft. What is it?
Let's move on.
All right, more producers. Fine, Tom. Big thank you to the Midnight Patron. What patrons at midnight?
Thank you.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew, the proud Satanist Hal.
Hail Satan.
Hail Ratma.
Thank you to Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Lauren Gucci.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Boodleson.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tux. Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Norm.
Thank you to Space McNulty.
Thank you. All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to your mom. Thank you to Nolan Mayton. Thank you to Andrew. Follow Marina on Twitch and Patreon at HeartFistBrain McGuire.
Thank you.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank
you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
You to Burrito Mouth.
Thank you.
Thank you to the ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thanks.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank
you to Christopher Robert Sparks, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Funky J.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pie Guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dave.
Yes.
Dave,
what?
You son of a bitch.
Hello?
I want you to stop what you're doing. Okay?
Okay.
I want you to mine. Okay? Mine your brain. Okay? And then I want you to craft, okay, a movie that deserves more hype.
Oh, okay. Well, this is I got one. It's the Minecraft movie starring Jason Momoa.
Yes.
It's coming out.
I suppose I Minecrafted my way right into that one.
Yeah. All right. This is a movie that's coming out July of this year. It's called She Will. There's no trailer yet. There's a clip. It's getting a lot of good reviews. It's playing at festivals and whatnot. It stars Alice Krieg, who you might know as the Borg Queen, and Malcolm McDowell. So it's two Star Trek villains who are both just creepy as shit. It's about a aging actress who just had a double mastectomy. A double mastectomy. And the movie that made her a star is getting remade with a young actress, and she is just out kind of recovering in this area that turns out is used to be where they burnt witches. And she's there with Malcolm McDowell, who I guess is the author of the material that the movie was based off or something like that. And it's about her gaining witch powers in her dreams to seek revenge. But it's a lot more meditative. It's being described, one of the reviews says think more gothic horror drama than overt fear-inducing tale of revenge. So it's a lot more meditative and surreal and weird. And has a lot to do with the feminist themes, the obviously this older actress sort of who I assume has been pushed out of her career. So it looks very interesting, very weird, very dreamlike. And it's again getting very good reviews.
Yeah, it was hard to, because like you said, there's no trailer. It's just this clip that's not, it's really hard to get anything out of that clip except kind of a general mood.
Yeah, for sure.
But the tone and sort of the look of that clip, and then obviously the people in it, Alice Krieg and Malcolm McDowell, and then this synopsis where it seems like at least part of the movie is about dudes like Malcolm McDowell's character in this movie who are male creatives who just continue to succeed and continue to be present, but just keep trading in their muses for younger women.
Yes.
I'm into this.
Yeah, the director, whose name is Charlotte Colbert, is she's done a lot of short films. This is, I think, her first feature length.
Okay.
So, yeah, but again, it's getting a lot of good reviews. It's getting good reviews across the board, like good artsy reviews, but also again like Bloody Disgusting, which is like more of like horror oriented, is also like, this is really good. So I'm just very, very, very curious about this one. I do think, again, if you're looking for even a slow burn horror, I don't even know if it's that. I think it's more like a gothic drama, like a very kind of slow and weird one.
Yeah, like one of the reviews that you listed was talking about how along with the double mastectomy and stuff and her aging, like it deals with like the loss of her femininity and kind of like her via like whatever weird stuff is happening with the dead witches that are seemingly like imbuing power on her, kind of like regaining that. So there's I can see exactly what they're talking about with like that gothic type of horror vibe where it's just like kind of an elderly woman kind of reclaiming her womanly power, and just like as Tom mentioned, kind of dealing with like shitty men who are going for like the younger nubile things. So especially when you're putting it through like the lens of like an actress who's also, as you mentioned, like kind of getting pushed out and getting replaced in a remake, and that like that's a very fertile ground for stuff to kind of just take that shape when you're talking about like regaining power and claiming your not adjacency, what's the word I'm looking for, agency. There we go. Yeah, when you're trying. So I just feel like this is probably going to be one of those movies where it's less like scares and stuff and more, I think you're just going to get a really, really ridiculous character performance out of Alice Krige, which, you know, I'm definitely here for because, you know, great actress. So I'm kind of interested in seeing, it says that she has a younger woman who's like her caretaker while she's recovering from surgery. So I'm kind of interested in seeing how that relationship plays out, like the older woman with the younger one, and then kind of seeing how this plot point of them remaking the movie that made her famous when she was younger comes into play. But as Tom and both of you mentioned, like there's none of that in the clip that we saw. It was literally her like waking up in a bed, very gothic, ethereal, and then walking like out to the woods in like the dirt from where I'm assuming the witches got burned, like creeping up her leg like Venom style. So visually it looks interesting, but there's not a lot to go through. But just from like the plot summary and the stuff in there's a lot more, as you mentioned, like not just jump scares and stuff like that, just kind of like that gothic, serene horror feel, which is always kind of cool.
The reviews the reviews describe like dreamlike sequences of her floating through the trees. It's only got 11 reviews. All of them are good except for one, and I just want to point out the one that isn't good. The quote that Rotten Tomatoes uses is, "Oh no, she won't." And I just find that very funny. It has nothing to do with the quality of the film. I'm just like, all right.
Solid. Yeah.
Solid. Good job, reviewer.
Wow.
But yeah, the gothic horror comes up a lot. Psychological thriller comes up a lot. Me Too comes up a lot in the reviews. So and some of them talk about humor as well. So it doesn't seem like it's like a dry film.
Yeah. As you mentioned, it's from a woman filmmaker. So I'm more than likely going to believe that those issues will be examined like more authentically and more thoughtfully than if this was just like a dude trying to capture that and just writing their opinion on it. Well, you kind of... I know a lot of people like this movie, but I kind of have some of those issues with some of Ari Aster's things, like in Midsommar. So,
right, it's not going to be like oh, this lady gets revenge and kicks ass. Like the people are saying, it's not a revenge movie. It's more emotional than that. It's probably more complex than that. So yeah, like I'm guessing it just has more to say than like your basic like revenge film, where it's just very straightforward. So yeah, I'm
and even from that clip like alone, like it was interestingly like composed, and just like the score was kind of pretty interesting too. So just like the aesthetics were nice from that small scene. So I'm kind of interested in seeing like kind of interested in seeing what an actual trailer for this will turn out to be like, and kind of going from there. But definitely it's piqued my interest and deserves more hype. So yeah.
Yeah. Everybody check out She Will. She Will. It's coming out this year in the summer. The summer of this year.
Is this on demand thing or streaming or?
I'm assuming so. But
yeah. I'd be surprised if it made it to the AMC, but we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be neat. But yeah,
man, I'm gonna be thinking about "Oh No, She Won't" for quite a while.
"Oh No, She Won't" is great. It's fucking perfect.
I could just picture the hand finger wagging while he typed that out on there.
Yeah. I also just want a film about like someone going to dinner, and it's like a dinner party with just Alice Krieg and Malcolm McDowell, and it's like nothing happens. It's just generally creepy.
And it's like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but it's
oh my god. I want Malcolm McDowell to join that that Kevin McDonald and Kevin McDonald and guy from Barry. Shoot.
Oh,
yeah,
Bill
the
Hader.
Bill Hader movie of just them looking at bodies and just bugging their eyes out in weird, uncomfortable patterns.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah.
Like that's just
Malcolm
3 generations
Bill, Kevin, why are you so uncomfortable with these bodies?
It's just like that's a family. Like he's the grandfather, he's the father, and he's the son. They're just all looking at bodies the whole time. Just whoa.
Perfect.
I need that movie. Oh shit, that's a sode, guys. We've done it.
Yes.
Woo!
We crafted that mind.
Oh man, such crafting, so many minds. Logan, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. What would you like to tell the world?
Check me out at the Logan Trent on Twitter and Instagram. Check out Cracked. We got a bunch of cool stuff coming out, especially with like movie and TV stuff. And please review this podcast and all of our friends' podcasts, because that actually helps.
Yeah.
It does. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we have a Patreon. Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. For just $5 a month, you get access to a bunch of exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. Every Friday night, we watch movies with our patrons. Tom, you weren't there last time.
I wasn't.
So we watched the newest Neil Breen film, and everybody got mad.
He was so angry.
That's the appropriate response to Neil Breen.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to not play Neil Breen films. He plays twins in that one.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Called Twisted Pair.
Oh, good. I was hoping he'd get a way to like really flex his abilities and show and really show off.
They literally taped a
twins with
mustache on a
superpowers.
person's face, and by that I mean they took some
On several
Scotch
people.
tape, put hair on it, and then put it on a person's face so that you could see the tape. Incredible filmmaking.
Oh, perfect
So
film.
good.
Ah, man.
So good.
Neil Breen, what a talent.
Yep. Yeah, everybody check out Neil Breen.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. You'll find a link to our Teespring store where you can get all kinds of cool original artwork and designs on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of things. So check that out.
Yeah.
You goofballs.
You goofballs.
Yeah, you goofballs. All right. Let's be done. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Minecraft.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.